after the story ended. But maybe it was even a little bit too much. Like you said, Tolkien went quite descriptive when it comes to the story, but it reflected well in the movies. Peter Jackson
Hmm.
managed to capture that in the movies, which is it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did. He did you could tell he respected it. He respected the book so much. It came across that way. Yeah.
Ruth, someone once told me that the best way of writing a story, and I let you confirm it to me, is to start with the ending. Is that true?
Ooh, I always do. I agree with that wholeheartedly. For me, I tend to have the ending first. I did for the Dragon Forest, definitely. So if you struggle with that, that's okay, but you should at least have an idea how it's going to end. It doesn't always have to be a happy ending. It could be bittersweet, but you should have a general idea of how the story is going to end so you can start your story. The character has to go through a significant change by the end of your story. So who they are at the end cannot be who they are at the beginning. They have to go through a change somewhere in the middle. If you think of Frodo at the end, he's significantly different than the Frodo we meet in the Shire at the beginning, right? Because he just went to Mordor, for crying out loud. So there has to be this drastic change. So if you have your ending, you have to think of who your character is there and what made him or her who they are. They went through something significant, whether it's surviving cancer or running a marathon or taking a ring to Mordor. It has to be something that transformed them. Because think of your own life. You're not who you were before. I'm not. My worldview has changed because I'm a mom now and married for 37 years, right? So think of who you are today and who you were 10, 15, 20 years ago, and what changed you, what transformed you. And typically, it's having gone through a lot of different tragedies and blessings, a lot of different heartaches that made you resilient. It made you appreciate life more. So it's the same with your character. So yeah, I highly recommend knowing the ending first.
Hmm. So you can design this transformation and therefore make it interesting, basically, to the reader.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I see. Interesting. Oh my god, I'm learning so much. I love it. So, do you also try to make it relatable somehow, right? That's also part of
Oh,
the transformation, I guess.
yeah, you have to. Your
Yeah.
character has to go through, they had something in their past that was a dark, dark moment, and that's what made them so resilient. And even when you study heroic figures in history, something happened to them that made them heroic. Or if they're a serial killer, something tragic happened to them in their childhood that made them suddenly want to be a serial killer, right? Nobody is like born that way. So, and that's what makes your character relatable. As your readers are reading, they nod their head and they're thinking, yeah, I've been through something like that too. Or yeah, I get that. I understand why that character is that way. And yeah, they're a jerk, but my parents divorced when I was a little kid too, and I was kind of a jerk. So it makes your reader relate to your character and want to cheer them on. They want to see them succeed. At the end, they want to be cheering for them. Yeah, you made it. Like we did for Frodo. We were so excited when he made it.
Yeah, when it comes to Breaking Bad, have you watched it?
Oh, that's one of my favorites. That's some of the best writing that has come out of Hollywood in decades.
You think why do you think is that?
The story arc. Walter, when you first meet him, he is so different at the end of that story, isn't he? Because the things he did to himself, he could have walked away, but he kept going and he admitted to his wife, I liked it. He said, I kept going because I liked it. And so we learned that he is actually the worst villain than all the other villains that were in the show. And they were horrific, weren't they? But here's Walt, father and a school teacher. He ended up being the most notorious drug dealer ever. and he was so successful. So to go from that character starting all the way and then go to the end, and it ended beautifully. It was such a great ending for all the characters, for Jesse, for Walt, for Walt's wife. You know, it was such, it just went full circle. And it was such a satisfying ending. Not a happy ending, of course, but it was a satisfying ending. You watch the credits roll and you're thinking, yep, that's how it should end. That's exactly how it should end.
It was very satisfying. You're right. The reason why I brought it up is because I watched this interview with Vince Gilligan, the producer of the show, and he said that his goal was to make the audience root for someone evil, but and how do you make someone root for someone evil? By I don't remember his exact words, but that was his goal basically, to take someone
Yes.
good and slowly throughout many and many episodes, slowly make him evil. You know, when you put the frog in the cold water and then make it hot. It's
Yes,
like
you turn it on.
you don't notice, you
Mm-hmm.
don't know, and he managed to do that. And the reason why I think he managed to do that is because he made him relatable. You're talking about making stories and characters relatable, and he did that because at the beginning he's like, he has cancer, he has money problems, has pride. Like, maybe we don't all have cancer, but we can sympathize. You know, we can relate to having pride and all of those
Yeah.
things, being unsuccess. Like, we can all sympathize, relate to him in some ways. And he just took that, and he took
Uh,
advantage of us. Vince took advantage of us, and
he
he did it
did.
very good. Yeah.
And he wasn't the first one. I mean, look at The Godfather. We were rooting for Vito Corleone, one of the worst mobsters on the planet, but we liked him. We liked him because he was a dad, you know, loving father, loving husband, but he was a murderer, you know, but the director and the writers made us like him. And same with Darth Vader. We liked Darth Vader. He was cool. He was mean. He was evil. And the director, the writer, George Lucas, made us like him and be upset when he died, right? We were upset when he died. So that's brilliant writing. Yeah, with Walter White, we all related to him. We have high insurance costs. We if we got cancer and had to get treatment, how would we pay for it, right? So we related. He had a moody teenage son, you know, a wife, all that kind of all those hardships. So we definitely related to him. None of us would probably go down the road he did, but we liked him. We hated him and then we liked him at the
Yeah.
same time, right?
Yes, I once questioned myself, why all those mangas, why all of those animes start on a school, you know, of like the classmates, they are like